I felt hollow, as though the life I constructed was a fabrication, and the love I'd had faith in was unreturned. I'd sat there for hours and read every message, every dig, every jab, every backstabbing disguised as banter. I would read and reread the screen, in an attempt to reconcile the woman on the messages with the woman I thought I knew. That night, humming a song and carrying their Thai takeout, Emma came home to them, blissfully unaware of the emotional rubble she'd left in her wake. I didn't say a word. I couldn't. I watched her flutter through the kitchen, chatted about her day as if nothing had happened. And the only thing I could think was a chat. Mr. Financial Planner, boring, you bet, in response to cheating. The love I bore for him seemed withering up within me. Fast. I sleep in the guest room and say, I don't feel well. It was that I couldn't bring myself to lie beside her and see what was truly on her mind when she thought I wouldn't hear her. It was make-believe for a couple of days. I needed time to get the noise out of my head, to think about what I was going to do. We were still kissing goodbye in the morning, but it was getting more and more abstract. I said I got tired after work and went to sleep early at night. But I wasn't tired. I was grieving. I'd been mourning the version of my marriage that had never been. 2 weeks later, I filed for divorce. I did not yell, did not argue, did not confront her with screenshots or menacing all-caps ultimatums. I just brought the papers into the kitchen one morning while she was putting on her makeup, put the papers on the table, and said, I'm not going. She blinked at the papers, as if they were written in a foreign language. What is this? That's grounds to divorce someone, I said matter-of-factly, making my voice unequivocal on the matter. She laughed, nervous. Jack, you're pulling my cock, is something he said to me. No joke. I read the group chat. On my laptop. Her face drained of color. Wait, you weren't supposed to see that. But I did. I saw everything, Emma. Every word. Every laugh at my expense. And every time you let them tear me down and participated. Had tried to explain. Had tried to apologize. Yet now it was all for naught. I told him I didn't want an apology. I needed respect. And she had shown me none. What about everything else? She cried. The life we built, the love, the good times? All drugged up from your disdain, I said. You laughed about me behind my back, Emma. You let them mock me. You tell me you're out of my league. You even made a joke about cheating. I was basically just trying to keep up with them, she said, in a moment of weakness. Oh, and I was planning a future with you, I replied. The divorce was ugly. She attempted to backpedal. Said she didn't mean it, said it was all just jokes, that she was drunk half the time when she sent those messages. Her friends came to me, too. Well, some of them, Vanessa, of course, didn't say anything. But Stephanie tried to explain we were just being silly and didn't mean to hurt me. I blocked them all. Friends and family said I was overreacting. Even my own parents asked me if I was sure I'd walk away from my marriage over some stupid back and forth between you two kids, as my mother-in-law giddily called it. But they didn't understand. This wasn't a one-message, one-night thing. It was about the pattern, the lack of loyalty. The girl who was supposed to commit her life to mine was mocking me. She didn't stand up for me when I needed her at my most. I signed the papers and never looked back. Then I changed my life. I focused on myself. I came at fitness with a new ferocity. I got a personal trainer, retooled my diet, and resumed boxing. I hadn't thrown a punch since college. Some months later, I was handsomer than I had ever been. Not for revenge. Not for her. For me. I also moved to a new firm. One with better clients, better commission, and a better title. Senior Wealth Strategist. Emma's friends might finally deign to call a worthy title. Not that I gave a shit anymore what they thought. I did everything you should do when you've been through a traumatic life event. I bought a downtown condo with floor-to-ceiling windows and a view of the skyline. I decorated it exactly as I liked it. Minimal, modern, and masculine. I'd started taking cooking classes on the weekends and had joined a hiking club. I built a life on not someone else's metric, but my own. I even reimagined what happiness meant, on my own terms. And then, 6 months later, I ran into Emma again. That charity gala was put together by a friend of a friend. She wasn't supposed to be there. I suited up in a fitted navy blue wool suit that would leave onlookers quaking. She looked the same. Beautiful, yes, but thinner, and not the right kind of thinner. Tired around the eyes. She came up to me, hesitant. "Jack." I smiled, polite but cold. "Emma, you look different." "Thanks. Life's been good." "I've been meaning to reach out to you," she said. "To talk. To explain." "There is nothing to explain," I said amiably. "You showed me who you were. I believed you." She had no time to speak when she saw the woman I came with. Sarah, kind, smart, grounded. A pediatric nurse, who I encountered while running my fundraiser. She had no interest in ego games, social circles laced with judgment, just a warm heart and a sharp mind. Emma's face fell. "She's beautiful." "She is," I said. "You look happy," Emma said, sotto voce. "I am." She looked away for a moment and then back at me. "Do you think we could have fixed it?" "No," I said, "because I would have had to become someone else to make you happy. And ultimately, I am proud of the man I have become. I don't need fixing." She didn't say anything else, just smiled and continued on, the heels clicking gently on the marble floor. We never talked after that. I still hear, "Do you regret it?" If I think I acted too fast. Maybe I should have let the jokes go, ate a little crow and rolled with it. But I wouldn't trade it for anything, because my father was right. You teach people how to treat you. And I decided I wouldn't let myself be a punchline. So I walked away, quietly, decisively. When Emma saw what I became when she wasn't around, she was speechless. But me? I was finally at peace. After all, my days would have begun earlier, and by this point there ought to be some indistinguishable smearing from the steady footstep-by-footstep trudging into that single, unthinking blur. No more dragging myself out of bed with that flat gray belly feeling. I woke up with purpose. 400387 HTTP service response. I prepared my own breakfast, prepared my meals, planned my physical activity, and allotted time for developing my clientele. Bit by bit, though, people were catching on, not just physically, but sure, that too, but emotionally. I was no more the tired, worn-out person looking for validation from someone who couldn't value me. During that time, Emma reached out once. It started innocently enough with a casual, "Hey, hope you're well" text. I ignored it. 1 week later, she wrote a more lengthy message. "I've been thinking a lot. I realize I hurt you to a greater extent than I admitted. I just miss what we were." Still, I didn't respond. I wasn't trying to be cruel. I was protecting my peace. She had made her choice. She stood me up, surrounded herself with a bunch of people who were all laughing at me, and then gaslight me to make me feel like I was overreacting. You don't just, walk away from that and double back. At least I didn't. And then she stopped texting entirely. Maybe she saw that the jig was up. Or maybe whatever she had been paying attention to elsewhere had finally been enough to distract her. Not that I cared anymore. Either way, 6 months and a divorce away. One email from my attorney stating the paperwork was in. That was it. 11 years together, boiled down to that digit dog tag and a line of legal acknowledgement. Weirdly, I did not feel heartbreak. I felt relieved. I did go out that night. Not to party, not to mourn. Just to breathe. I walked to one of my favorite little rooftop cafes. Ordered black coffee. Seated in the open air, cityscape before you, and just being. There was no bitterness anymore, only clarity. It wasn't about winning, about showing her, anymore. It was about going back to myself. I guess people just stopped asking me about divorce. They moved on. New rumors elbowed out the old stories. That's the nature of public drama. It burns hot and fast and dies out fast. And all I had was my quiet, unwavering march. My business grew. My body transformed. My mind was sharp. I also realized that I laughed more, really, truly laughed, from deep inside. Time passed, and I met somebody else. Her name was Riley. We met at a seminar where I was talking about fitness finance, of all things. She was caring, sweet, a little strange, and very smart. We became friends first. No pressure, no games, no strings. She knew I had been married. I told her everything. Not the whole hog, but piecemeal with all its hideous nakedness. She listened. She never judged. She didn't try to fix me or say something reductive like, "You'll meet someone better." She had 2 more words to add. "Just walk." "You deserve someone who doesn't make you small for expecting basic human decency," she added. For the first time in Stave, you felt like sure again. If nothing else had taught me that love cannot survive without respect. You might be able to share a bed, a home, a life. But if your partner laughs when others make fun of you, that's not your partner. They're your weakness. I will never make myself smaller to make someone else more comfortable again. I'd rather be by myself and at peace than with someone and doubting myself every day. Funny thing is, I am not sorry for marrying Emma, because I got everything I needed from that chapter. And I don't hate her. I really do. Even if I am on the sidelines watching, hope that whatever she has with someone else is her way of happy. But I'm not looking back. I've too much ahead of me. So I always felt like I had to prove myself to them, as if that wasn't okay on its own. And the only thing that made me seem remotely real in that group was that you're the one with the most glamorous life. When they started to get married, buy houses, have kids, I freaked. I started to feel like I was falling behind. She looked up at me with tears for the first time. I didn't value you. You were ever present, working hard for me, giving to me, trying to make a future. But I was trying to win the notice of people who ultimately couldn't give a hoot about me. And I can see it now, way, way too late. Her voice cracked. I was cruel to you. I mocked you, ridiculed you. I'm sorry, Jack. I really am. It was surreal. And as I heard her say those words I'd wished so desperately to hear from her for so long, but they did not bring mirth or closure. They didn't soften me. Rather, they only confirmed I had made the right choice in walking away. "You're right," I said. "It is too late. You had me at my best, Emma. Years of my life, my loyalty, my trust, and you just shat away on people who took friendship as a race. No, I'm not saying I don't like you. I'm just saying I don't care. I've moved on." She drew a faltering breath and made a slow inclination to the head. "I get it. I realize this is not something that can be fixed. I just had to tell you I'm sorry about all of that." There was a long pause. For a second, it almost felt as though she wanted to touch me, had something to say next. But instead, she stood. "I won't bother you again." She began to walk away, and then she paused at the door. "I hope you're good to her," she said softly. "You deserve that." And then she was finally gone. I was a little quiet that evening, and Olivia noticed. She didn't pry, simply handed me a smoothie and sat beside me as I cleared emails. I informed her of the incident. She let him say his piece and answered quietly, "You're a good man, Jack." It's a shame she didn't realize that when it could make a difference. But I do. That meant everything to me. Today, I bounce out of bed when the alarm goes off. I feel fulfilled. The old times still burden some minds, but not mine. I don't resent Emma. I just feel sorry for her, sometimes, that she's let something genuine go in favor of an illusion of security. My story isn't about revenge. It's about rediscovery, of making peace, and not getting even. Stronger, happier. And I walk in our performance center, and I can hold Olivia's hand and look into the eyes of the athletes grinding out under our programs, or when I get an email from a sponsor. Every one of those moments I know I've made it. And not even professionally, but personally. I'm not looking for approval anymore. I'm living life on my terms. And for the first time in forever, I'm free